For tickets, we have taken to the global stage at the Olympics and shown the world what Kenyans are capable of. The time for us to show the world what Kenyans are made of is here. For Kenya, let us cheer our champions. We are whole Team Kenya. When we win, you win. We are Kenya Milele. SMS the code under the Tusker Crown to 29844.
Kenya Milele.
Excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to your health. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Hi everyone, this is Radull Live, and I continue with my series. Can I call it a series of chatting with people who went to represent Kenya at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and did the country proud? Yes, remember, we were cheering with the Tusker behind us because we are Team Kenya, Kenya Milele. Now remember, excessive consumption of alcohol is harmful to your health, strictly not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years. Now today I have someone who I have been a fan for so long, Emily Muteti. How are you doing, Emily?
Good, thank you. It's good to be back home for a few weeks, and it's a pleasure to be here and get to do this with you.
I've been stalking on you, and I've been stalking you on Instagram for, I think, more than a year, for several years, by the way. So that's all I've known of you. I've followed some of your career, but today I want Kenyans to get to know who Emily is. First of all, you said you've been around for some time. I saw you down in Mombasa. That was a holiday?
Yeah, I took a break for like 4 days just to go back from where, you know, it all started and where I've always been born and raised. So I went down there for a few days of break, and yeah, so I've been here for about 2 weeks already. So
got a suntan. Yeah. Let's start from the beginning. Who is Emily Muteti? Where did you grow up, and how did you decide that swimming is what I want to do with my life?
I was born and raised in Mombasa my whole life. I've been swimming for about now 14 years. I started swimming probably about when I was 10 years old. I started off with my grandfather. You know, he lived in England, and my mom used to be a swimmer, so he always liked to see progress and always liked to be behind somebody who was like athletic and stuff. So he used to come once a year back home for about a month, and he just when we used to go to the beach or the swimming pool, he found out that I had like some sort of like interest in the water and competition wise. Mm-hmm. So ever since, he thought that I could probably be something for Kenya, or where my second citizenship is England. So I decided that that's something maybe I would like to pursue. So at the age of 10, I started off at Dolphin Swim Club back in Mombasa.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
At that time,
that's
I was
where
still
Danilo goes.
No, Amba used to go to. Amba's dad. So I used to train with him for quite a while. But then at the same time, I was schooling at Loreto. So I had to move away from the club just because of the time differences of my swim and my education. Couldn't balance it to the same, so I had to leave the club and moved to Coach Malik, Mombasa Aquatics. Is where I trained just because it fit more of my schedule. Mm-hmm. And so I've been under Malik for about 10 years. And with him, I've gone far, and, you know, swimming, it took me only about like 2-3 years to get to the top level, and ever since, you know, I've been on this long journey of traveling and representing my country since I was 14. So yeah, it's been a good long ride, starting from Mombasa.
So in school you won all the trophies?
Yeah, something like that at the beginning.
I can see your sister nodding.
Yeah, yes, I did, and you know, it was a good experience and good achievements and things, you know, you still get to value when you grow up. So yeah,
you do. I was actually a swimmer. Between me and my sister, we also won all the trophies until I gave up when I was in my 20s. But yeah, it's an interesting thing for Kenya, because in Kenya we don't really take swimming amongst the sports a lot of people take up seriously.
Yeah.
There are few schools that encourage you to swim, but the minute you finish school, you leave it.
Yeah, well, I see, personally, as you can see from the swimming background, we're mainly usually like people who are half Kenyans, half something, you know, half English, half German, half whatever. So it's more of like people who are mixed race, and that's just because, you know, mainly you can see, and nothing against it, but a lot of like African parents are more like, you know, you need a degree, you need to study, this does not take you anywhere. But if you actually get to see that, if you actually put your mind into it and all your focus and determination to it, you can get far with it, you know. And that is something that is not really like put out there for parents to see this, that this can be also people, top athletes make a living out of this, and probably could make more than having to go to like, you know, to work a 9-to-5 job and everything. And people need to see that that's, you know, if you make it out there, then that's a possibility that
it's a career in itself.
It is a career in itself. That's true. And a lot of people look down at that over here, and it's mainly, and also if you look at the times that you look at students going to school, it's not the same. You know, people go to school at 6:30 to 6:30. It's like, what am I doing the whole time there? You know, it's like, not to take credit out of it, but you know, there's only so much a person can take, and it's also good to keep, and it's also good to be active out there and not only lean onto one thing, because there's a lot of people out here who have degrees and stuff and don't even get any job, you know, where you can go and try and make it to the Olympics or like all African Games, World Champs, Commonwealth Games, make good money out of there, you know. Yeah, maybe what you can make in the Olympics in 4 years is something people cannot even make at all in those 4 years, trying to get with what their degree can get them in. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So maybe if you dedicate your time, life, and something to this, you can make it like,
you're talented in.
Yeah, you can see like, you know, all those runners, how many times they've been on the Olympics. You know, they're recurring people, more of like the top athletes. They've made millions out there, you know. They don't need a job, they don't need to do anything else. All they do is just run and make money out of there, make, you know. And that's what they've dedicated their life to, and that is something that, you know, people should also see, that that's a potential that they're able to make a career out of it. And that's why swimming is the same thing. Sadly, also swimming is also like, you know, an expensive sport that is not affordable to everybody out there, and that's why you're seeing it's more of like seen as like more of like white parents can like afford that type of lifestyle and swimming, and you know. That plays a role to it, but at the same time, you know, it shouldn't like limit you to what you're able to do. You know, I've trained and I've been able to travel since the age of 14 and 13. I've never been able. I haven't been saying that, oh, I need to go and train in America or the UK to become one of those top athletes. I became a top athlete training here and
I was actually. I grew up in Botswana where swimming pools were free. And then I came back to Kenya in my teen years, and I'm like, you can't find a swimming pool for free.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was like, people pay for swimming. It took me time to understand that concept. Yeah. But we also need to understand that limits the progress of what our athletes can achieve.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, I've been training on a 6-lane, 25-meter pool, no blocks, no nothing, but I feel like if you have the will to want to continue and try and, you know, at that point, you know, you can't be like, I want this and it's gonna be there. Sometimes you just have to like push yourself and know that later on there's something waiting good for you out there. And that's the thing, you know, I've always wanted to be like, I want to leave the country and go train and be somewhere else and do something. And, you know, it just wasn't the time. I needed to get there for me to be able to get some sort of sponsorship or to further my education. I needed that. And I needed to try to do whatever I can without all the things that can get me there. And, you know, I tried, and, you know, failure comes with that, and, you know, disappointments, but also good, you know, good stuff.
It's not an easy road. No career is easy.
Not at all.
Tell me because eventually you did move out of the country.
Yes.
Tell me about that transition.
So I moved out of the country in 2017. I went to Thailand to train there. It was for was on a contract, which is a swimming FINA body. The swimming body is called FINA, and I was given a scholarship for about 6 months to go and train there and see how good I can get, so I could qualify for the World Champs. And I went there, and it was, you know, perfect facilities, great people to train with, people equally as fast as you, even better, and, you know, great coaching, and, you know, teammates who actually want to be there and want to give it their best every day. So it was a great time to be there. I was there for 6 months. Qualified, I went to the world champs that I needed to be, and they were gonna like extend my scholarship, but after those months, I went about like February until like July, and after that I just decided that, you know, at the same time I want to pursue my swimming. My age is not waiting for me, so I wanted to go and pursue university too. So after 6 months, when I exhausted my scholarship for there, I decided I wanted to go and further my education in America.
And that's where you are now?
That's where I am right now,
in
after
school.
4 years, yeah.
What else are you studying?
I'm studying criminal justice with an emphasis in government and psychology. So
please bring your brains back home. We need them.
Yeah, so I'm on my 5th year. This season I'm going to leave. It's going to be my 5th year of academics and my 4th year of eligibility. So yeah.
But while the college you're at, you still get to professionally train.
Absolutely. America, I would definitely say, somewhere that you know, appreciates talent, appreciates your work and what you can do for them. And that's a lot of, that's why people go to America if you have like athletics, just because it's one of the countries that provides scholarships based on your athletics and what you can do for the school and stuff. So that's why I moved to America. And
they've also found a balance, a perfect balance between not letting go of your education, because face it, an athlete's career is short. It's quite short.
Yeah. So they're good at balancing, you know, classes, and you know, we have people in the athletic department who like take care of our classes, make sure our homework is turned in, you know, making sure we attend classes and our GPA does not fail. And they're very strict about it. You know, it's like when you're not turning in your papers or doing your assignments or attending class, then you get a suspension, and that means you can't travel with the team, you cannot train with the team. So and then, you know, in mind you have your scholarship there, so you know you're gonna have to want to work. You know, and that's one thing they're good at. You know, I get to do 4 classes a semester, 4 to 5 classes a semester. It's timely. You know, they don't, you know, put it all on you. So I have like an hour and an hour and 45 minutes per class, probably 2-3 times Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, that's it. And then, you know, I'm always traveling Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back to school, and I always make sure my, you know, work is turned in and everything. You know, I've just learned how to balance it, and they're able to work with you, and you're able to work with your teachers too. So it's a great balance, and definitely way easier to do all that there than being here.
Oh, absolutely. But as an athlete, you have to be disciplined and organized.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I would say it's something that you have to start from when you're young. You know, it's something that just doesn't come overnight. You know, people will be like, oh, you know, I personally don't have the social life of like, I want to go do this on a Saturday night and come back Sunday. I'll be fine on a practice Monday morning. You know, there's some time for that, but mostly not. I'm usually just more of like sleep, swim, school. And that's all I do. And I mean, I knew that when I went into it because I dedicated my life to that.
I was actually gonna ask, do you feel you missed out on a little bit of your childhood or your teenage years?
Personally, I would.
It's worth it.
I mean, personally, I would say I wouldn't say I missed out on something because I didn't really have it. So it's hard for me to want to have something that I didn't like have a taste of it. So, but I've seen it out there, and it's just nothing for me yet, just because I haven't been doing it. So it's not something I'd be like, oh my God, I want that, or I missed that, or something. So I feel like I'm perfectly fine, and I'm happy with where I'm at and my dedication and my, you know.
And you went for the Olympics.
Yeah, I know.
How many of your teenage friends can say that?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, it's a long battle. I tried to go in the 2016, and I fell short. I came second out of Rio, so that sucked. But at the same time, I had to, like, you know, suck it up and, you know, be a tough cookie and say I'm gonna fight for another one. And, you know, I've always been, my name's out there, at least in Kenya. They know me for like always, you know, just hustling and gonna keep on going and going and going. So I've been doing it for quite a while, and 2016 just wasn't for me, but I'm glad for the experience. I've kept on going, and if I wasn't even first, I was always second in the country. So I've always been not to toot my own horns, but I've always been like
Hey,
a top
tweet it. You've earned the right.
yeah, like, you know, I've always been like a top athlete, and you know, that's my credit, because I've always been working hard and I've always wanted to be there, and it's not something that I just decide, oh, I want to do this, and I don't put my work into it. I know I walk the talk, so
Hey girl, by the way, I tell everyone who sits on this seat who is an athlete, if you've achieved, blow your trumpet, because it's not easy. You know, I mean, just take me through a normal day for you, like a normal school day and training day.
Okay, so usually about Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturdays, I'm usually like, I wake up at like 6, I go to practice about 6:45 to 9:30, and then I usually go to class, depending on my schedule, I'll probably go to class about 11 to like 12:30. Have a lunch break, go to another class at 1 to about 1:45, and then take another class from 3 to 4:45. Then I usually get out a little bit early, 15 minutes earlier, so I can make it to my second practice. So I go to practice from 4:30 to 6:37, and then I come back and then eat, and then try and do some homework, and repeat the same day, Monday to Saturday, day in, day out. So.
And the right to blow a trumpet.
Yeah.
Now, finally, you've made it to the Olympics. What's that feeling like?
You know, it's a great accomplishment, not only for me, but, you know, for the people who have always been big supporters for me. And, you know, I've had text messages before, years, even when I was young, you know, people always rooting for me to the Olympics and all that, wanting to be there. And it's not only for me, you know, it's for my family, my supporters, and everyone just who has been there out there, whether they know swimming or not. You know, I've always had people who have just always been part of this, and it's a great accomplishment, because, you know, it's not that everyone gets to get, and it's something that comes only once in 4 years. So it's a huge accomplishment personally for me, and, you know, probably for my mother, just because she knows how much I've always wanted to be here and like. Say I've made it, and, you know, through the hard practices I didn't want to go or stopped and stuff like that. So I've had my backs for that, and it's a great accomplishment. And definitely it was, you know, I've been to like Commonwealth Games and stuff like that. It's usually the same, but having like, you know, the best of the best in all sports around you is something different, you know. And as I said, it only happens once in 4 years, so it's something I personally don't take for granted, and it's definitely something I would like to try again one more time also.
Did you have an out-of-body experience? Because I heard that from one of the other athletes when they first went to Rio, that you arrive and you're like, okay, I know this time you didn't mix. Last week I had some female boxers here who were at the Olympics, and they're saying unlike previous Olympics, because of COVID, you didn't get to really mix with other athletes as much. But people who are in Rio, like, you're walking and you're seeing Usain Bolt walking next to you, and you're seeing all these other Alison Felix, and you're seeing all these world champions, and you sort of have, I'm here, I'm one of them.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, you see, for the swimming part, I've been blessed to go for world champs and keep on seeing the recurring like athletes in the world, like Adam Peaty, Caleb Dressel. So I've seen them from the past, but, you know, when you know, it's not like everybody gets to see them like that every other day or every year. So I've been blessed with keeping my swimming and always seeing them at the top and always seeing them every year. And that's usually great, you know, to see people being great. But seeing other sports and other athletes is definitely, you know, it's crazy, you know. You see them from the Instagram or like their sponsorship of Nikes and Under Armour and stuff like that, and you get to see them. You all get to eat the same food. You all get to sleep in the same bed.
You're one of them.
We're all the same, you know. We all get to do the same thing, and it's great, you know. It's definitely a feeling. You'll be like, wow, you're literally here in flesh, and you know, it's good to see you.
That's Emily over there.
I know. It's, you know, and there's no special treatment out there. It's always, you know, everybody gets to the same thing, and it's just that makes you feel very more special and appreciated. And, you know, you get to see more of your hard work and how far you've come, and being like, dang, I'm actually one of them now. And, you know, it's something that I did when I got there. I was like, you know, it's just another travel. Here we go. Let's see how this goes. And, you know, but then, you know, it kicks in more day by day when you get to see this, and it's like, wow, you know.
I felt it on your. I think I reposted your. I think it was your first Insta story when you landed in Tokyo, and you're like, I think you just took like a whole video of the village and the flags, and I think you were next to the British team or something.
Yeah, we had British, we had the USA and Australia, and you know, it's like they're all here.
And Kenya.
You know, people, you know, these are people who are worth millions who are here, you know, and it's great, you know. It gives you the, as I said, it's something that, you know, you feel so special about it, and it's something you're just forever gonna have, you know.
Do you ever get nervous before a race, especially at the Olympics? You're on the blocks. I think I'd be disqualified for diving in too early.
I'm thankful for the opportunities I've had for going to big world class, because I said I went to world champs in my first world championships in Turkey in 2012, and I was just turned 14 years old.
Wow.
So I had already like big athlete. Then that's when I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm literally placed at the wrong place, and this is literally the last place I want to be at, because I'm so intimidated and I need to go home now. So previously, so it's like about 8 world champs I've gone for Kenya, and it's usually the same layout and same format and everything. So it's like you just have to get used to it. Get nerves and all this, you know, you get them, but it's not as bad as I did when I was way younger competing with way older people. But it's just something, you know, you have to be like, I can't get disqualified. I'm just gonna have to suck it up and just try and focus. And I wouldn't say I was as nervous, just because I've been on the same type of stage, but not the Olympics, just world champs and Commonwealth and stuff like that. But it's definitely, you get more of an excitement. I was like, oh my gosh, I have my own lane. I'm in this lane, and everyone in the world's watching this.
And most people are your age mates at the time, because you're in age groups.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was more of an excitement, I would say, more than like scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see my face up there on camera, because, you know, we had a big camera up there, and you can see your names all lined up, and I can see the camera guy moving, and I'm like, oh God, people are seeing me. I'm like, I gotta go, you know. So it's more of like, I'm usually more of like happy and like, oh my gosh, can they see my face on TV and stuff, more than be like, or sometimes, you know, be like, you can't, it's your one shot and you can't get disqualified. So you're like, you need to make it right, you know. So I try and just skip myself down and be like, you know, it's just another race. Just try and take it out the same way and just treat it like it's just, you've done it before, you can do it again. So that's something I'm always telling myself, just because I don't like to be tensed in the pool. Just because sometimes people use this adrenaline to make them better. Sometimes it just weighs you even way down personally. So I usually try and just hold it down, and usually I'm pretty good at it.
Calm.
Yeah.
I want us to take a short break. When we come back, I want to get into some serious conversations, because I want to see what, and you can think of this during the break, what do we as a country need to do more for you? Because I want to know what support you get from the Federation. Okay. I want to know how we go from being participants to actually going closer to winning medals, and what can we do, because clearly you're doing your part. So that conversation is coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
For tickets, we have taken to the global stage at the Olympics and shown the world what Kenyans are capable of. The time for us to show the world what Kenyans are made of is here. For Kenya, let us cheer our champions. We are whole Team Kenya. When we win, you win. We are Kenya Milele. SMS the code under the Tusker Crown to 29844.
Kenya Milele.
Excessive alcohol consumption is harmful to your health, not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Welcome back. Now, there's lots of football action happening all over this weekend and just about every weekend. And remember, you can place bets on the 17 matches on the Betika Grand Jackpot every single week. Now, you can stake 20 shillings and stand to win 50 million, or you can stake 99 shillings and stand to win 100 million shillings on the Betika Grand Jackpot every week. And for a total of 100 days, imagine just for placing a bet, you go into the daily draw where you could win a piki. Yes, 100 pikis to go. So place your bets, and yeah, if you win a piki, I'll call you give me a ride. Yeah. Now we're continuing the conversation with Emily Muteti, Kenyan swimmer who has done Kenya proud by representing us at the highest level of sport, the Olympics. Yes, it is the highest level of sport. Just to tell people, which is your stroke?
I'm a butterfly and freestyler sprint, 50, 100 max.
I used to be a breaststroker.
No.
I still fumble with butterfly after all these years. Maybe one day you'll teach me when you have enough time and the weather is not like this.
Nuh-uh. This is cold.
But yeah, butterfly is a challenge for even swimmers like me. Freestyle, I guess it's what we all learn first.
Everybody gets to have that, yep.
Yeah, but my sister thrashes means she was my biggest competition in freestyle right through school. But breaststroke was mine. Breaststroke was mine. Now, I want us to get into a bit more serious conversations. What support do you get from Kenya?
To be honest, none. Everything I do is self-funded. Thanks to my school, you know. My scholarship, my school academics, swim scholarship, and everything my school provides. So as I said, I go to Grand Canyon University down in Arizona, Phoenix, and for the past 4 years, I've been supported by my school, and you know, that's great. For Kenya, I haven't really gotten like any sponsorship.
The federation, has the swimming federation come in to support you in any way?
I don't know. I don't see it. Personally, if you ask me, I don't see it. If they think they do, I'm not aware of it.
Have they reached out to you?
No. The only thing we get is usually, oh, we have this competition and would you like to take part, or you've qualified and stuff like that. And it's nothing, it's not usually like a follow-up, you know. We care about you and your progress. Let's see how you've been doing, couple months. It's always just, oh, this competition is coming up, let's reach out to you and see what you have done in competition, in your results, and let's see if you're worth taking here and there. And that's
okay. This is worse than I thought. So if you are not taking your own initiative and your school initiative and your family initiative,
to be honest, no. I personally would say no. I don't see it. Yeah, because you see, we have in October, I think. We have Kana Zone 3. I don't know. It's an event that we have that the Kenyan team is taking to Ghana. Ghana? Accra? Is that where Accra is at? Yeah. So we have a...
The cameraman's from Ghana. He'll be offended that you had to say, is that Accra? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we have a Kenyan event. Kenya is taking a team there, and it's for, you know, the people representing the country and stuff. But, you know, something like that, I feel like if you're already representing your country, we get to pay for our own accommodations. We get to pay for our flights. We get to pay for our own kids too. That we get to wear. If it's a Kenyan kid, why would I have to pay for it? It's like $400. So I don't know what kid costs $400, but you know we already have expenses with our own things and stuff. And then on top of that, if we want to go and represent our country, why do we have to go and pay for this, you know? And when things happen like that, I personally would opt out and be like, I'm not going because
I can't afford to. I'm sure many people can't afford to.
Exactly, and it's usually, you know, that's what we get to struggle with a lot. Every year we always have like competitions like that, and it's just, so you'd find people probably with talent or not can't go because of like things like that. You can find top athletes just backing down, and you'll find maybe other athletes that, to be honest, I probably have never heard of or something, would go just because they can afford it and stuff like that. But, you know, we don't really get to send our best athletes just because it's always things that we always have to pay. And this has been starting since I was young, you know. My mom, we started having like this funding stuff because I wanted to keep traveling, getting my name out there when I was younger. And I've always had it for the past like 12 years. I kept doing that. And, you know, it's something that just hasn't it hasn't grown. I thought maybe it's something they would get to learn and see. Maybe this is something we can invest in, but to be honest, I just personally have not seen that. And coming up with this meet that's coming up in Ghana, when I looked at that, I looked at the letter, I was like, oh, this is something you could do and stuff. But then when I looked at that, it costed about $2,000. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna go. No.
But that's unfortunate. I mean, I've been covering swimming for a while.
Yeah.
In my other radio show that I used to do before, we interviewed officials of Kenya swimming. At the time, they were fighting each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, federations always all fighting each other. And in the middle of it, the athlete is suffering,
Well, that's the thing is that, you see, we're supposed to have some sort of elections. I'm not sure what's all, just because I'm never usually like informed or whatever this groups that's going on. But I know we need to have like some sort of elections for our Kenyan Swimming Federation. And if that's not carried out, we probably can get banned, And when that's banned, then it affects the swimmer more than people who can get themselves, out of the elections, whatever they want to carry out. So sadly, this thing is something that if we don't get to work with or like get through it, sooner or later, we're just gonna get banned, and that would be it. It doesn't hurt the parents; it hurts the swimmers. So
it's unfortunate because the other day I hosted someone here from badminton Kenya, and we actually banned.
Yeah.
Badminton is banned, and there was one athlete a woman who was a lady who was training to hopefully go for Olympics, but we were banned because the officials can't get their act together, and I find it so unfortunate.
And that's what's happening right now. To be honest, that is something that's happening right now, and it's something I feel like needs to be sorted out. Like, we could get banned tomorrow or something, and people are not standing up and stuff. And exactly, and that's something that I don't even know how this is usually carried out. Maybe because it's out of my interest to know who's in the elections and who's trying to get what and something like that. To be honest, I don't know anybody in the swimming federation apart from me. As I said, this is usually something that you keep fighting for yourself since you don't get help from anybody apart from them saying, oh, there's this competition coming up, or you actually looking out for yourself and being like, hey, I've heard of this competition. Let me see if I'm able to go, because you can't just go for a competition and be like, I'm going to swim for Kenya. You need the approval for them to let you go and swim out there. So it's like you don't really know who you're talking to. You don't know your people, and that is something. It's like I feel like
had two swimmers at the Olympics, you and Danilo. And somebody from the federation should have called you, should have a personal relationship with you.
Yeah, well, you see, that's the thing is that I don't know how many people run this thing. I only know a few faces that I know of that I'm usually
it's their
assured
initiative
of.
to take.
Exactly.
You're busy training.
Yeah. So it's like I only know very few people, and if I have any problems, I feel like there's certain problems you run somebody into the federation. But it's like you don't know who you're working with, so it's like it's just all over the place. And
so what, you have phone numbers or emails or something? If you have an issue, who do you reach out to?
Personally, I only know of Jen Maina. So anything that happens, I'm always like, oh, I know Jen. She's always helpful. She always helps me out there, and super thankful for her. She's the one who sorted us, me, Danilo, and other swimmers out for the Olympic Games and stuff. She's always been behind it. But apart from her, to be honest, I genuinely do not know anybody.
And now that you're in Kenya for
maybe like Mark Motsembi or something, Zach and stuff like that. I don't know, as I said, just
here you're here for like another 1 week.
Yeah.
They have not called you in for a meeting, for something formal?
No. Yeah, no.
And you represented us at the Olympics. We're such a thankless country, and I'm taking responsibility as well as a Kenyan. We're such a thankless country, Heaven forbid you won a medal, Everybody would be tagging on your coattails.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is such a shame. So basically, and I've heard this many times about swimming, that if your parents can't afford to pay for you, forget it. Especially for the international tournaments.
Absolutely.
And for kids, the last time I interviewed some parents, they were saying, a lot of our children can't even travel alone because swimming is a teenage sport for the most part. And your kids are traveling with, you're not sure. So sometimes you have to take yourself as well. So that doubles the budget because of how much care children need, not just as athletes, but as children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't afford it. You can't
That's
be in the
true. You
game.
know, as I said, there's no swimming trip you're gonna take that's definitely less than $1,000. None. So if you have anything less than $1,000, you're not going
1,000 is
anywhere.
probably Uganda.
Exactly. So probably not even. So it's you know, it's, as I said, it's definitely something that a lot of parents shut doors to their children or something. And you know, this is something that people need to probably, whoever, you know, some people, as I said, put this, I don't know what coaches people, they're out there. Personally, I know Mombasa, Nairobi coaches that I train with and are usually like really good. Fakri, Malik, all those people, you know, are very like elite and know what they're doing, and they can get you out there. It's just, you just need, you know, as I said, it's expensive, but at the same time you also have to like, your parents need to be there to support you during this and not just like dump you there and be like, okay, did you get anywhere there? No, I can't. Okay, so stop swimming. And that's what usually a lot of people do, or get to an age and people usually like stop just because like they feel like they have something better for them. Exactly.
You know?
And it's usually like, you know, top swimmers, you find the same Becky, me, Maria, Sylvia.
Becky Kamau,
Yeah, you know, it's but then at the same time you can't blame them. Those are people who put their life out there. You know, that's what they've put their swimming career in.
Becky, it's her dad. Her dad is in our faces, but you know he has to be.
Absolutely, and that's okay. You know, and those are people will be like, no, I can't continue swimming. If Emily is still swimming, or Becky is, Maria, Sylvia is still swimming, I'm never gonna make it out there. And that's what you hear a lot. And it's like, dude, I'm also fighting for the same spot that I was once upon a time there. Before, if I was young, there was definitely other people who are better than me, you know, Awaris, Aching, Ajulu, all those people were all better than me. But at the same time, you gotta also believe in yourself and something that you can put out there, you know. And that's something that a lot of people just usually don't. You find people be like, hey, when you think you're gonna stop swimming, you know, what year is that? It's like, I don't know. Oh yeah,
when
you know.
When are you gonna get a real job?
Exactly.
Quotes?
So it's like, I feel like I'm pretty good and pretty stable with where I'm at. And
what support would you like to get? What would be an ideal situation?
Personally, I would like something, you know, somebody who's actually probably interested in the sport as I am, and would actually look out for me too and be like, oh, Emily, we found this competition, these qualifications. If you're trying to make these qualifications, we have this and this competitions. If you'd like to attend, you know, this is what you need to do. And, you know, just having somebody, you know, follow up with that. You know, I'm also in school, I swim, I have other things to do, and on top of that, I do this too for myself and look out for myself, trying to still compete for Kenya.
But
at the same, it's my own interest for me to go out and do all this research and stuff. And, you know, just having somebody who's also, and not only communicating to me, communicating with other athletes, and, you know, that we're all over the world. You know, we're in the UK, we're everywhere, America, and so we need somebody who's always going to be like, we have this schedule, these are the meets. Whether I attend or not, at least I'll be thankful that there's somebody who's always there.
Who's looking out for you.
Exactly. Sponsorship, it would be great to find sponsorship out there. People who, you know, just because I can be white or something does not mean I have the money to always just splurge it out there. I'd love to go and compete and get better and, you know, train and have the best of the best that people get out there who are Olympians or just even world-class athletes. So it would be great to have the same support system that they do, and, you know, you have to have somebody who's willing to have that sport and will to want to do that for fellow athletes or fellow swimmers. But that only happens if they have the interest of you. Mostly you'll find it's usually parents of swimmers who try and do this just because their kids are also in the swimming industry. But it's not usually somewhere we, you know, and I'm not trying to say like we should be like the USA or something, but, you know, they have people who are always like out there making sure that, you know, you're okay. Check up on me once in 6 months. It's not too much to ask. Hey, have you found a competition to swim? No. Oh, maybe this is a list I found. If you're trying to make, you know, Commonwealth in July next year, there's these competitions that are out there. Maybe, you know, you can sponsor yourself or do anything, or we can try and find something for you, but this is the options you have out there. Nothing. I always have my coach back at home, back in the US, always has to, like, you know, try and help me find out. You know, he has also his work, you know, this has nothing to do with him. This is my federation, this is my country. That has, you know, he goes out of his way to help me and do all this. And And that's something that I feel like I should be able to get here instead of me taking my problems to the States to a coach that has no idea what's happening in the swimming federation.
For Kenya.
Exactly. So it's like, so those are things that I would personally enjoy or like. And I don't think it's too much to ask, you know. And
hey, it's our duty.
So things like that is something that, you know.
And corporate sponsorship, have you had any, or have any corporates approached you, or are you approaching any?
NCAA, so in college in America, we were under NCAA league. So it's like, you know, any athlete who's like in a scholarship is not able to grant sponsorship from outside their stuff, but it got uplifted, and we're able to go and find scholarship for, just because we're able to build our image and likeness out there, and thankful for that. So I'm personally going to try, since it just got lifted about a few months ago, I'm trying to find now sponsorships and advertisements, things that I can do, so I'm able to get my name out there and get to try and see if I'm able to make something out of there. So as I said, that's something I guess I'm just gonna have to like find for myself, because it's not really we have somebody who's gonna be out there and be like, hey, look at this. Exactly. Like, so it's something that I'm just gonna have to do out of my best interest, and so that's something I'm definitely gonna do when I try and go back. And
I think a lot of Kenyans, especially the fans, we don't realize that when you go for Olympics, you're competing against people who have teams. I'm sure some of these swimmers you meet there, they have a publicist, they have a marketing person, they have a lawyer, a legal person, or whatever. And here's Emily on her own with her family trying to make it and compete at the same level. And then here we are saying, oh, but Emily didn't win a medal. Hey, do you know who she was competing against?
Yeah.
You know, people don't understand that.
So for swimming, is usually lots of Americans are usually good at it. Australians are usually like the top athletes, and you know it's all tough. You know, these are also swimmers who've dedicated their life and don't go to school anymore, and have decided this.
Swimming is their life,
and they need to be at the number one at the podium and hold world records and stuff. Don't say I don't aspire to be there. I also would like to have an education. I also love my sport. And I'm always going to keep trying. I would love to be one of them, but it's also,
You're a realist as well.
You have to be realistic with where you're at. And not, as I said, it's not nothing that you can't achieve, but you also have to understand that those are, just because I'm also chasing school does not mean I'm only going to chase school and that's it. There's only so much with my time and scholarship and my age in academics in America that limits me. I can't be like, I'm gonna dedicate this time until I go back to university. In America, when you're trying to be eligible, you can't be eligible past 25. So I have to do my school, and if I want to get scholarship and get it paid for, you gotta do your calculations and make sure if I'm gonna skip $40,000 every year of school, I gotta sacrifice something. So those are people, we're all in different leagues. As I said, those people who don't go to school, all they do is swim, travel international-wise, and do all that. But it's tough, We can all be in the same, we can all compete at the Olympics and stuff, but I also give them more credit for how they've gone out of their way to do way more than I have. But I'm satisfied with where I'm at. My goal was to reach the Olympics, and I'm happy with that. Would definitely love to try it one more time, or maybe a second time again, third time again. But definitely will be trying again for Paris. It's they have their own credit. It's you have to weigh your options and what works best for you. And they're Americans. They live there. I'm on a visa. After my visa's expired, I need to be out, and I'm not on their time frame like there. So it's different. You just have to see what works best for you and making sure it's balancing well with your swimming. And I feel I'm pretty good. I'm pretty settled and happy with where I'm at and my competition and my results. Yeah.
When does your scholarship end?
Should be next year, as I finish my career. Yeah, probably do my masters. If I do my masters, I can swim one more year. So I'll probably do my masters in government. If I do that, then I'll be there for probably another 2 more years or so. And yeah, so
very quickly, compare facilities between there and here.
Well, you see,
If you dare.
it's more like very developed back there. And, you know, as I said, these people who look out for their athletes, you know, they have medical understand, they have, you know, different people who do their diets, you know, making sure that they're eating the right food, you know, they have personal trainers. So they have, you know, when I train here, I have one coach that does all that for me, but they have different coaches and for different things. And facility-wise, you know, it's definitely great out there, you know, it's things that can make you be better, but at the same time, I don't want to take credit out of what I've also earned when I'm here. I've gotten as far as where I have, and to even make it to America with what I've been training here, we can be limited. There's definitely better things out there, but I have to say that you can still make it out here for you to excel out there if you'd like. So if you get a taste of it, you definitely would like to stay out there. And it's something, you know, it's going to take years if we're going to have it here. You have to have somebody who just has, you know, the same value of what, as I said, that is something that I probably wanted to do. It was like to get all my knowledge and everything I've probably gotten out there, bring it back home and see what I can, you know.
I was actually going to ask if you'd ever consider coaching in future. Probably
in the future. One of the things I actually want to do, or probably would love to do, not to end my swimming career, but probably, you know, after my swimming career, I would like to get out of the athletic type of environment for a bit, just so I can have a different taste of something else out there, just because I haven't been outside the swimming career and everything. So
even if you were 9.
Exactly. So okay. I can always come back to my sport just because I have my experience and it's always going to be there with me. So I want to be out there for a little bit, being out of the swimming sport career and wanting to become a coach and something like that. So that's something I definitely want to be out there for a little bit, probably about, I don't know. But one day I'll come back and do like coaching or something. My dream definitely to get a personal athlete back to the where I went to the Olympics. So yeah. If not a group, definitely one of my dreams is to get a student or a person to the Olympics, and from my personal experience. So after that, yeah, I'd go back and get like, you know, probably train a kid who's like probably 10, 11, around that age, and see how far they can go. But definitely I want to see them get to be an Olympic athlete
as well. Carry on the legacy. Carry on the legacy. Emily, thank you so much. I'm so glad we had this chat. I'm glad I met you. You're an amazing human being. And for me, you're a hero for Kenya. You went for Olympics. It's a select few in a lifetime that go for Olympics, and I need Kenyans to respect that, you know. But thank you for an introduction to Emily Muteti, more than an introduction. And when are you going back? You're here for another week?
I leave on the 27th, going back to school, so I'm excited for that. New season. I came back from the Olympics, took a small break, you know. I've been swimming all year round. Thankfully, you know, COVID didn't really affect. It took me, actually, affected me. I stopped swimming from April, came back on like August. But at least from last year, August, I've been non-stop swimming till now. So I needed a break, and so I can look forward to my next season at school and probably make it again to Commonwealth Games next year and future games for Kenya.
All right. You heard it from Emily Muteti. It's been a pleasure being here. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. On a personal level, since I know the people at the Swimming Federation, I need to reach out to them and ask them, what are you thinking? Help this girl who's done it for the country.
Help me, and you know, I'm personally now I'm fine, and you know I've come to agreement that there's some things that it is what it is, but look out for your future, you know, Olympians, for the next generation that are coming up. You know, it's something I would not, you know, wish for anybody, because you know it took too much, you know, money and all that. You know, you're doing it for Kenya, but at the same time it's your own struggle. Nobody gets to see that behind the curtains and everything. So
we are so good as Kenyans. We celebrate you, but we don't know how you got there.
Exactly.
We're so good at that.
Exactly.
You know?
And I feel like a lot of
shame on us.
And you know, one thing about it is media. One thing I don't like about, to be honest, about media, not to share, you know, not to throw any shirt down there, but you know, you find it was a disappointment that this was that, you know, I don't need to be told this. I know myself, and asking me questions right after that event or something, I don't need to see it on media being tagged. I haven't spoken. So personally, you'll find people speaking out for me when I haven't given my statement or anything out there. So that's something I would like is, you know, if you haven't asked, don't put things I haven't said. And I've seen that, you know, I've been looking up my name out there and seeing people's articles, and I'm like, I did not state that, and I don't know where that came from. And that is something I would say definitely, when you know it's a disappointment, the athletes know themselves too, and they're not proud of it, as I said, same as the country and stuff, but I don't need it shoved up my face. I don't need media up on me, asking me so many questions when you haven't let, you know, I haven't let it sink down to myself, you know, haven't taken it thought and see what happened. And, you know, all I see is like already the next day I swam, the day before, a few hours, I have a post that's out there, and I was like, oh, it was such a disappointment, she did not make it here. Oh, what has Kenya done and all that, and it's like, I don't need to hear it from you. Like literally, you need to back away. Yeah. So definitely, I would let you know, let the athletes or, you know, people out there speak for themselves before you make an assumptions for them. And, you know, as I said, those are things that stay out there in the, you know, articles. You find, you know, big. You know, as I said, it's just something that it's not something of failure. Failed to do this. It's not a failure. Not everyone makes the Olympics, so don't tell me I failed. You probably didn't make it there. So how about you? You know, stay away from my lane. And that's the thing is like, that is something I feel I definitely usually take personal when I'm out there in the country. You know, they usually I don't know how they probably follow up from my social media, pick some things 1 or 2 there, and it's like, I know you're trying to make a story or something, but you probably rather reach out to the source and ask for confirmation before you just make out, you know, those are things you can file court cases and stuff.
Just giving you, the athlete, the basic respect.
Exactly. So I would definitely say that is something that I've seen that actually sometimes bugs me when I'm out there in the States and I see articles already made out of there when I haven't said anything. So
stop it.
Stop, yeah. But otherwise, thank you. I appreciate all the media behind it, and, you know, always making, you know, giving you a great name out there too, and, you know, looking out for athletes and stuff. So they also, I definitely give them credit, you know, for always keeping up with my career or other people's careers
you have
too.
Support.
So
you have, and you have support from Calligraph. He's a friend of yours.
Family friend, actually.
He's a family friend.
Yeah. So
yeah, I see him sharing your flyers and giving you a lot of support. Where are you looking at your sister? No. We're behind you. That's all people need to know. Those of us who respect your hustle, we are behind you. There are a lot of Kenyans who are behind you. Block out that noise. The noise you don't want to hear, block it out and focus. And I can see you don't have a problem doing that. No. So I just want to say well done and keep it up. And we are proud of you. Thank you so much, Emily. And thank you for coming. Thank you guys for watching Radull Live. I hope you've learned a thing or two about about the struggle of Kenyan athletes, but also about how proud they are of what they've achieved, rightfully so. And I'll keep on telling you, blow your own trumpet. You've earned the right. We'll see you again next week on Radull Live.